I'm just wondering if there's got to be situations where guys are happy to be traded.
Oh, totally, but not many. I can't think of many in my entire career. Maybe 4 or 5 at the very most.
Is that because of the hassle of being traded and moving and all the crap you got to go through?
Yes, I mean, when I was traded, I heard the day before, but the day I was officially told, I was in Bill Torrey's office at 7 or 7:30 in the morning, and literally I'm boarding a plane at 3:30 at LaGuardia going to Los Angeles. Like it's so disruptive in your life. We had one daughter, and Donna was pregnant, so I mean, it completely changes everything about your living, your day-to-day, everything. It's just horrible.
But so in that scenario, and you mean by then you had played, in the longest game in history, that famous Easter Sunday thing in Washington.
Yeah.
So you were tattooed with that Islander logo.
Yes.
Born but at one point, did you not in the car service to LaGuardia or on the 5-hour flight saying, "Hey, I'm getting to play with Wayne"?
Oh, of course. There were things that I was looking forward to, and it was number one was playing with Wayne, and I had known Wayne for a couple of years from the '87 Canada Cup, and this was February of '89. So of course there's optimism, when you look at it from the hockey perspective. And LA was a team on the move, and our Islander team, for whatever reason, we got stuck in a bit of a rut that year. Which was interesting because we were finished first the year before, the Islander team in the Patrick division, but that year we were off to we just couldn't get going. Anyways, it is hard though when you're so deflated to look forward to things. And you guys both know me, I'm an optimist by nature, but it was hard to get going, and but it happens quickly. So I was on a plane. I landed, I think, around 9:30 that night, so I missed the game. We lost to Washington that night. Then the next day, we're on a 5-game road trip. So wow. Can you imagine that? Like, so I get traded, I land, I stay at the Sheraton at LAX for one night, then I'm back on a 5-game road trip with the Kings.
And walking down the aisle of the plane, having to introduce yourself to guys.
100%. And which that was cool. I was good with that. Getting to know Robbie Fatorik, our coach, and just everything. Where do you fit in? How do you fit in? Do they like me? Or what are their thoughts about me? You question everything. Why wouldn't you? You were just traded. Somebody didn't want you.
Did you wind up moving to LA?
Oh, of course, and we loved it. Yeah, we ended up that summer. We ended up buying a place in Redondo Beach, which we loved, and that turned out, like I said, I was so disappointed and hurt to get traded, but it turned out to be the best thing in our life. And it was, it turned out to be, because I was 28 years old when I was traded, it turned out to be a period of the best growth of my life, biggest period of growth in my life. That trade sort of forced it on me, and there are so many good things that happened, and my life changed dramatically. Bruce McNall was our owner, and he kind of, how do I say this? Wayne was the star in the team. He was the true superstar. Of course. Yeah, of course. But Bruce McNall had this idea that he kind of wanted to make a bunch of us other guys stars, and whether it was real or not, it didn't matter. He was going to force that, and it was kind of cool to sort of grow into that and see a lot of my teammates in that same sort of situation. It was a cool life. And John, you know it. You came out there a bunch of times, and yeah. You went out with me in Manhattan Beach a few times after games, and it was a cool experience living down there. I loved it. I miss many things about Southern California.
So you talk about the growth at that. What did you learn? What did you learn about yourself?
I learned you're not that big of. Okay, I'll tell you a couple of things I learned, and my favorite is so I didn't know how to handle this sort of notoriety or being a popular player, and so I remember I wasn't being as nice to the fans leaving the Great Western Forum as I should have been one night. And Donna's right with me. And I think I may have blown off a couple of fans. Or I would have signed, but I probably wasn't as friendly as I used to be. So we get to the car, and before I can even put the key in the ignition, Donna looks at me and goes, "That's enough of that. You're going to go back to being the good guy you used to be when I met you in Medicine Hat and how you grew up in Edmonton." And that was a beautiful thing to hear, because then after that, then I was no longer, I'm King Kelly and hey, look at me and I'm a star and all that. It was back to being my usual humble self that my mom and dad were great parents and they taught me about being nice to people, and I went back to that. That was the best. But the most important thing I learned about the game of hockey is how big this game can be. Now, I did a thing quite a few years ago, but I remember, guys, when I moved to LA, there's a Great Western Forum, there's the Culver City ice rink. I don't know if you guys were ever there.
I was.
Right? Yeah. And then there's the arena in San Diego, because San Diego, you guys know, had quite a hockey history in the minors and all that. Willie O'Ree played there. Anyways, to my knowledge, there's only 3 to maybe 5 rinks in Southern California. I did a thing a number of years ago where I was kind of researching how many rinks, and there's between 50 and 60 rinks in Southern Cal now, and many of them have multiple ice sheets. So it was really cool for all of us that were playing in LA in the 80s and early 90s to see the growth because of Wayne and to experience it. I mean, that was the number one thing that a lot of us, when LA won their first Stanley Cup in 2012, a lot of us were texting and were saying, isn't this amazing? Like, we were there to witness the growth of the game because of Wayne. And all of us were so proud of it. We're so proud of the Kings to win the cup, but I think equally we're so proud to see the growth. And Wayne was, of course, the number one guy, but some of us felt we're along the ride and saw it.